stole a lot during the Kibaki regime. Unajua sasa uoshaga Kibaki na yeye anakuwa mweupe kama pamba. No, people stole. That's why like people like akina Nani had to run away.
And people are murdered in 47 as well. That's Kibaki as well.
Yes, that's Kibaki as well. So Githongo had to run away.
Oh my God! I may not be your best, and I don't claim to be, but I'm the one you have.
So recently I was involved in a very big debate, and the debate was, who is the worst president Kenya has had? And for me, my opinion was very unpopular, because I think the worst president Kenya has had is Mr. Kibaki. And here's some backstory to why. So our first president, who was Kenyatta, definitely was a pathetic guy, because he was the first thief, and he's the one who taught all these people to be crooked. He got most of the land from the white man and decided to keep it all for himself. So as much as we are different from South Africa, where in South Africa most of their lands are held by the white man, in Africa most of our lands are held by few black men. So either way, we're just in a similar status, the people of South Africa, because also as our first leaders, the first elites stole everything from us. So there's no big difference. They took it all from themselves. And I always say Africa's biggest problem is not colonization. Africa's biggest problem is greed. Now back to the topic I was discussing, is the worst president Kenya has had is Kibaki. So after Kenyatta, we got another thief who was even worse and brutal than Kenyatta. That was Moi. Moi looted the country for more than 20 years. And Kenyans got to a point that we were now fed up with what the two thieves had done. And we wanted a revolution so bad that when Kibaki died, we unified as a country. We dropped the tribal narratives, we dropped the regional narratives, and we voted for change for once in our country. The only time we ever voted in unison for change and for a better future. Our tribes aside, our differences aside, all we voted for was a brighter future. And Kibaki, for the first time, was the greatest president we could have ever had. He was a visionary. You could see he was seeing the future, and he was taking the country in the most positive direction the country could be taken. And people were happy with him. People were happy with their choice. But after the end of his 5-year limit, the African in him, the melanin that resonates with greed, kicked in. Then he couldn't let go of power. And Kibaki massacred a lot of people compared to the entire Moi regime, compared to the entire Kenyatta regime. Just look at what happened in 2007. 2007, we lost so many people to violence in the shortest period of time because of one man's greed. An entire country suffered because of one man's greed for power. One man. And that was just the beginning of the hell Kibaki created for this country. We were going on a positive trajectory. Then this guy just turned against us and he became the greediest man you could ever interact with. For power, he accepted, like, while he was there, everyone knows that he didn't win that election. Everyone, even him, I know when, wherever he is, most likely he is in hell. But wherever he is, he knows he destroyed this country with that one move of greed. Things could have taken a different turn if only he was generous. we wouldn't have had a lot of these chaotic things. Then I thought that maybe he'd be remorseful since he had caused the loss of lives of thousands and thousands of people. Directly, he was the cause. As much as people want to blame Uhuru and Ruto, who were victimized for it, the main root cause for this thing was Kibaki. His greed caused all that. So he went back to office. You will think that since this guy has seen what greed can do to a nation, you will think he'll change or want to do more for the country. No. When he went back, he was a bit sluggish and continued looting. There were many scandals during his second term as compared to the first term. Then when it came time for the 2013, he was supposed to hand over and ensure there was a free and fair elections. What he did first was he took a loan for the two people who were criminals at Hague. He took a loan for them, which will be paid by our taxpayer. He took money for them and gave them for them to use to campaign. Not some billions and billions of shillings. You can check. Around 2012, 2013, Kenya took huge sums of debt from IMF, from World Bank, in disguise of development. But we all know, anytime a country takes a loan, especially in Africa, anytime a country takes a loan, either a year or during the year of elections, all that cash is used for election. So he took it and funded his brother, who he knew, he knew he was giving a country to these crooks. And he proudly did. He proudly gave a country to a crook like you. It's like you're giving your inheritance to a drunk man and a lie. And you just take an entire country's economy and drop it on the hands of the worst people you can give it to. The worst pair of people he could have given power to, he dropped it to them. You can blame Uhuru as much, you can blame Ruto as much, but who gave them that power? Who allowed them to rule this country? It's Kibaki. So all your sufferings, all your pain, there's only one guy you can blame in this country right now. It's Kibaki. He literally, he was a safe guy, so he had options of people he could, good people, people with integrity. Many of them were available. If he didn't want to give it to his rival Raila, there were better people he could have given it to. People who could have run the country better. But whom did he decide to give it to? Give it to these two guys who have destroyed our country to its limit. They pushed, they are proof of worse governance, the two of them. Maybe you're not as bad as Uganda, but some people always compare us to Uganda, Tanzania. But why would you compare yourself to the worst? We could have been better. Maybe we could have been the best economy in Africa. Because we had the potential. Maybe unemployment wouldn't have been this bad. And anytime I'm frustrated with this country, anytime I'm pissed off at Ruto, or I'm pissed off at what Uhuru did, I remember who put them there. It's Kibaki. We put Kibaki there to make a change, but he returned us. The worst part is we wanted to do away with Moi and his ideas, and by that time in 2002, Uhuru was Moi's idea, who we as a country were running away from. So we gave it to this guy who returned us to the Moi regime indirectly. Indirectly, he returned us to the Moi regime. That's how bad Kibaki messed up our country. That's how bad he messed up this country. So wherever he is, many people say you should respect the dead, but if the dead are the reason for your suffering, should you still respect them? Because that guy destroyed this country forever. You can't blame these two crooks. These two crooks, it's their nature. It's their nature. Like they were born like they don't have that side of integrity, which Kibaki at least he had. But I wonder what happened to him. What made him change? What made him dump our country in the hands of these crooks? So even though he's gone, that's a question that will never be answered. Because we all know these two people are the worst people to have been given a country to run. They're the worst people to have been given a country to run. And Kibaki was too sane, especially in the first time when we were giving it to him. He knew the dangers of corruption. He knew the dangers of giving people who are rogue like Moi. He knew the dangers of people who are greedy like Kenyatta. But years later, he gives power to people of similar traits. Because like Uhuru took most of the loans that never arrived in our country. Ruto is taking most of the loans that are not arriving in our country. So anytime I see Ruto doing anything fishy, I expect it from him. It's his nature. He's been doing things that are of that nature ever since. He's never done a good thing. It's almost rare for him to do anything meaningful for the country. And if it's too nice, you have to think twice. Because he is not the guy to put the country first. He put his pockets first, then his friends' pockets second. Like in his rank, we as a country, maybe we rank at number 10 of priorities or things of value. Currently, he's overtaxing us. That's all thanks to Kibaki. Kibaki gave way for these two crooks, and Kenya will never be led by the same people again. When? So we'll be led by crooks after crooks after crooks after crooks after crooks. It's like an endless journey until one day we wake up again and change the system. We run away from all this, like the way we did in 2002. But hope this time the person we put won't take us back to crooks. So I know most people will disagree with my point of view, but according to you, who do you think is the worst president our country has ever had?